You know, there would be no Jeff's picks if it weren't for the helpful hand, the silent face, the partner unseen. I didn't say handsome face, but his is. His name is Roger Jenkins. He was a founding father of Feast, and I'd like to thank him and feature him, introduce him to you in this way. Now, at the Super Short Story Swap that Feast hosted in August 2022, he responded to a story with a story. It happens. The story was told by Stephanie Granzini, and it provoked this story. And his story was, well, I'll let him tell it to you. Thank you for your help, Roger. Here he is to you, Roger Jenkins, the hand behind the hand of Feast. Let me see if I can get this straight. The story tells us that it's the natural imperfections of life that give life its perfection. In this show, we have lots of imperfections, and we have lots of life, and we have lots of stories, and let me get to the next one now. Yes, we will. Here we go. So here's a little gem from Prakrati Agrawal. She's active in Feast in India, well, yes, until she followed her husband to the cold north of Canada. From there, she still is active, but she's got to get up at 4 a.m. in the morning to participate. Worlds in collision. Time zones freaking out. She said she likes to tell stories that make you laugh and think. And this story does both. Here's the story of the nose drip. So let me see if I get this right. The moral of the story is that you should always carry a handkerchief with you when you might need it somewhere, and your nose. Excuse me, sir. You over there. Can you move over there, please? And use your head. Well, now. 15 years ago in a Himalayan village, 3 travelers, musicians, met, kismet. It was meant to be. They've been collaborating ever since. Dio plays the percussion and the tablas. Etienne plays the sitar, even on guitar, and well. But the star of our show, the presenter, the storyteller, the flute player, is Rebecca Lemaire. Rebecca Lemaire, seeker of wisdom, teacher internationally, traveler across nations, comfortable in many places, and speaker of many languages. I met her when she was auditioning stories for the NSN programs that were done during COVID, and she was in 3 of them. You may remember her. You'll remember her now, because now here are 2 touching, beautiful stories from India that mix the power of silence and sound, that mix meditation, devotion, and music for profound ways. I really don't want to spoil the silence. But here's one that you lovers of personal stories should really hear. Are you ready to listen? So, the musician sees the God in the snake. Plays devotion and love, not fear, saves the day, no harm done, all content. Well, now we turn from not only from a European who's traveled the world and found a home in India, to an Indian who's traveled the world and found a home in Europe, Scotland specifically. Gauri Raje is an anthropologist based both in India and in Scotland. She's fascinated with how the old myths help a community to hold together in hard times, and also how the old stories can help immigrants to root in the land they now live in, their new home. What do I love about this story? Everything. I love the storyteller. I love the story. I love the setting. I love the videography. I love the music. I love the aura. And I love the way it tells a spooky story. I love them. So hold on to your seats. Another delectable offering from Feast. Gauri Rajay, the ghost husband. Now let's just spend a minute with this story, this spectacular, this atmospheric treasure. Where are we? Well, we're in an abandoned office building, maybe a warehouse. No disturbing, nothing, just the storyteller. The storyteller, boy, does she look the part. The videographer slowly backing up. We're just having a conversation, handheld, intimate. We couldn't get any closer. She sits down and talks to us and pulls us right into the video. It's hard for video to do that. Music, it's so little and it's so much. It gives an atmosphere by being just present and holding the moment. I love it. And how about that story? At the most bizarre moment in the story, when the real husband and the ghost husband see each other, and the village and the wife, and they all are going, what to do? They send him to the king. And what does the story revolve into? An old folk tale that ends with the challenges of putting the cork in the bottle, and the ghost is now gone. And then they solve the dilemma. Well, if she didn't know, if we didn't know, how could she know? Therefore, she wasn't unfaithful to her husband, and everything's fine. She holds the baby and says, I'll raise you as a human. Brilliant. Well, now let's turn our cheek. We have another story to present to you. Yes, we do. From the Feast archives, yet another miracle. This one involves a mortal in love with a celestial nymph. And it's told by another Indian woman, storyteller, who's found her home in a new place, another country, in this case, Dubai. Let me introduce you to Shireen Saif. Shireen Saif, a multidisciplinary artist, blending traditional Indian dance with storytelling, theater, and conceptual art. Well, they sure fit together here with this show. It was featured as part of a program to kick off the Feast Fest 2022 known as Stories for Adults. It's a little bit racy. It was extracted, too, and featured in Feast's Story of the Month, an ongoing series. So here she is, Shireen Saif, with the story of the celestial nymph. Oh, that's fantastic. What an elegant, beautiful, succinctly told tale, well contained within her own pacing, moving as she would a conversation. Just so beautiful, so well done. That's a feast for you. So there you have it, friends. 3 different storytellers, all Indian women storytellers, who found new homes in places far away from home. One is of telling a funny story. Carry a handkerchief and keep your nose clean and use your head. One with a dilemma of 2 husbands for 1 wife. What's the story? Go to the king. And of course, it wraps up nicely when the folktale gives a challenge and one of the husbands is bottled up and put away. There's a baby too. And finally, the story of heaven coming down from a longing touch, just a touch, infected with love, to consummate. And then the conditions are broken, and she has to go back. But she doesn't go back for long. She has to come back with a baby, which means another baby. So they're constantly breaking the edict that they should be apart and longing for consummation. Passion, beauty, perfect. There's also two organizations, one with a bouquet, a bounty, a feast to serve, one an organization willing to take it on and bring you together with me to hear it. And then in between, oh, you got to stay 6 feet apart. And then there's you and me. You who are wise enough to come and partake of this bounteous feast, and me who had the insight to pull it all together as Jeff's picks. You're welcome. Now, my friends, let's all say goodbye. Sit back, contented. Pat your belly that's full of stories and beautiful performances. Ah, yes. My smile is broader. My world is smaller. I have more friends now than I had an hour ago.